Hey everybody, welcome to the Jim Masters Show. My next guest is a legend in television, film, and stage, beloved actress, Karen Grassle, who starred for many, many years on the iconic Little House on the Prairie. She played Caroline Ingalls, that's Ma, and a absolutely beloved character. Many of you have had an opportunity to follow that series for so many years. The fanfare continues some 50 years later for all of the characters, all of the stars of Little House on the Prairie. I've had an opportunity to meet and chat with and even welcome to the Jim Masters Show several of the cast members over the years who've joined us for laughs, memories, and great conversations. This is a return visit for wonderful Karen Grassle, who was with us just a couple of years ago. She has new exciting things to tell us about, a very special event she's going to be attending with all of the folks from Little House on the Prairie that remain with us in our hearts and minds. There they are there. And they still, get together. They've been getting together for quite some time now, of late, all over the country at various events and celebrations of Little House on the Prairie. And this is a wonderful photo from them, 50th anniversary. And of course, we've had opportunities to celebrate all the characters here on the Jim Masters Show, celebrating this beloved series that continues today in re-airs, and it has a new fan base too. The originals still love it, but there's so many people who are discovering Little House on the Prairie all these years later, which is extraordinary. Now, Karen has been a part of our lives for many, many years, not just on Little House on the Prairie, of course. We love her on Little House on the Prairie, but she has starred in so many other productions and projects as well. Best known, of course, Caroline Ingalls on the NBC television drama series Little House on the Prairie. But again, as I've mentioned, this is a wonderful shot of her. She's been with us and on our screens and in our lives for such a long time. But it is Little House on the Prairie that really seems to resonate, continues to resonate with so many people. And we're going to talk about that. There's also a wonderful event with so many of the stars from Little House on the Prairie that's going to be coming up. We're going to tell you how you can get involved with that. People will be coming from all over the country. It's going to happen in California. Matter of fact, she's not in California right now. You know where she is. We're here in the New York area in the United States, but our very special guest returning to our show is in beautiful Italy right now. Yes, she is. And we're very excited to welcome her. So we're going to bring her on right now, the incomparable, the award-winning and beloved actress, and so much more, Karen Grassle on the Jim Masters Show. Karen, welcome back to our show. It's wonderful to have you here.
Hi, I'm glad I could be here.
I'm glad you could be here as well. You're there. I know you're in the middle of moving and a lot of things going on, but you are there in fabulous Italy. Do you go often? Tell us about the trip to Italy that you're on right now, the excursion.
For the last year, a little more than a year, I've been going back and forth from my home in California to temporary place here in Carrara with my boyfriend. And it's been a big adventure.
That's fantastic. That really is. And I'm so happy for you because you've worked so hard in the industry all of these years and you're a beloved figure. And you see that reaction, right? When you attend these events all centered around Little House on the Prairie, you've done so much more than just Little House on the Prairie, but specifically with that beloved series, when the fans come up to you and they tell you their stories and they remember settings, locations, and what you were wearing and what you said in dialogue, it must be quite amazing all these years later, the intensity for the love of you and all the cast members and the series as a whole.
It's really quite amazing. We are also very beloved here in Italy. And the show is on every day. And there are people who are just absolutely in love with it. I didn't do that many events once the series was over. Of course, I did all the promotions that were necessary at the time, but Then I separated myself from that and I went on to do a lot of other things. And it wasn't really, Jim, until my book came out, and you and I talked about it, I think, during the pandemic, that I began to go out again. I began to relate to the audience again. And that's when I learned what a gift this character turned out to be. You know, when I was cast, I really didn't think it was a very good part. I thought, gosh, you know, her husband is so handsome and enthusiastic, and he plays the violin, and she's going, are we going to settle here? Looking askance, you know, at the prairie. And it turns out that the character of Carolyn is just imprinted on people's hearts.
What a beautiful way to actually say that, imprinted on people's hearts. That is so true, Karen. And so you've come to love and appreciate the character, the series, and what it really means to people, which makes sense. You know, a lot of people are in television series or movies or, you know, plays, and they will move on to other work. They won't stay just stuck in time and in that character. Even if they love the character, they'll move on and they'll reposition themselves in other work, which you've done so successfully on television and in other areas. But now with the fanfare, your wonderful book as well, which we did talk about, there is this reappreciation for the series and the love of the character, right?
Yes, and you know, it's a gift to me at this latter part of my life to receive this affection that I didn't even know existed. It's quite astonishing, really. Yeah, I'm often bewildered and blown away by the way people feel about this character. And you know, I worked hard to make her more complicated and to bring in the issues that women are concerned about and tried to bring it a little bit away from the old Western ideas of, you know, bonanza, the way they treat women and so forth. And the writers responded to that and wrote so that there could be more interest in the women's side of things.
Exactly right, which is beautiful. You know, you do mention, in case anybody didn't see, and I encourage them to go back in the archives and see the episode where Karen was a wonderful guest previously, and we talked about the book. Tell us more about the book. This was a labor of love for you, Bright Lights, Prairie Dust, and you're very open, revealing, honest, and authentic in this very well-received book. And continued congratulations on it, Karen.
Thank you. It's wonderful to have people come up to me who have already read it and tell me the parts that they identified with. And, um, well, thank me for sharing my own struggle because, you know, we all need to know that other people have struggled and gotten through and found a way uh, to live.
That's true. You've shared very openly that it wasn't always easy on set. There was a lot of things that you saw, witnessed, experienced that were not necessarily anything we would see or experience in watching and enjoying the series. But you've been very candid and open, which I think is refreshing. Not a lot of people take the time to do that. Was that hard to do that, or did it come naturally for you?
When I needed to write from my heart, from my gut, and I didn't worry about um, how it was going to be received because I didn't even have enough confidence to know that I would get it done and that it would get published. So I wrote, you know, the best I could from inside. And it was very healing for me to have these memories come and to put them in context and to see that I had matured and lived through it and learned a tremendous amount and changed and grown. So I was a beneficiary of the writing, even if it had never come out. And then when other people thank me for sharing it, well, then that's gravy on top of it, you know.
It really is because you've helped a lot of people too, because you've talked about, even some of your own personal struggles, alcohol, things of that nature. And some of the other,
Yeah.
couple of other casts have talked about that as well with themselves and things they've been through in their lives. And that is extraordinary because it just shows that you really are a true, real, honest person. We beloved on television, an amazing actress, but you're real. You bleed and you have fears and you have sadness and happiness and joy in your life. And I think it's beautiful, and to be able to be resilient and to get through things while still, making your mark in entertainment history is no easy task, daunting, but you've been able to come through in a beautiful way, and you share that so openly, which is very inspiring to others who may be going through things in their life as well, whether they're on TV or in the movies or not, Karen.
Right. I mean, everybody has some kind of struggle. Everybody has something. And it's easy to forget that when everything looks so glossy, on a screen. Yeah.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah, that's a wonderful way to put it. You when you had that opportunity for that character, like you said, it was sort of interesting to see that character and be that character, but you took that character on, you know, um, beautifully, and you've connected with that character and with viewers in such a beautiful way. But you have done this for a long time. I mean, as a child, you studied at a dance academy and acted in school plays. So the spark was sort of simmering there early on for Karen Grassle. You graduated from Ventura High School and then attended H. Sophie Newcomb Memorial College, Tulane University, then University of California, Berkeley, graduated with a Bachelor of Arts degree in English and Dramatic Art, received a Fulbright Fellowship to the London Academy of Music and Dramatic Art in London. And then
Mm.
after summers at the Stanford Contemporary Workshop, playing leads in 2 summers at Colorado Shakespeare Festival, playing classical roles, the professional engagement was a session at the Front Street Theater, Memphis, Tennessee, upon returning from London. And you also lived in New York for a while too, right? You worked at resident in
Yes.
the Stock Theater throughout the country, appeared on PBS in original works and on networks in 3 soap operas. Tell us about the soap operas. People always know Little House on the Prairie, but the soap operas too were a part of your life.
Well, the first soap that I got was a character that was being brought back. I don't know what had happened to the other actress, but the character was being brought back and they were casting it, and I got the part. And I was terribly excited because I knew that soap operas paid really well. And we were flat broke, my young husband and I. And I started on the soap, and then I got offered a show that was supposed to come to Broadway. And I went to my agent. I said, "Oh dear, what am I going to do now?" And the contract was offered for, I guess, a year, possibly to be renewed for the soap opera. we discussed it and we said, well, you know, if you go to Broadway and succeed there, that's a career builder. So take the play. Well, I took the play. We went on an out of town tryout with it. We worked hard. The writer was rewriting and trying to make it better, but I guess it just didn't quite come together. And there we were in Cape Cod, darling theater there, whole cast living in this house together, fixing meals and stuff. And we were told, well, you're not going to be going to the next town. What? No, we're closing. You're going to be going back to New York. Well, that was a big lesson for me because I didn't know that the union had provided for actors if they got canned like that, that there would be transportation home and some kind of severance pay. And we weren't just, you know, out of town and out of luck. So that was my first experience out of New York. Yeah.
What a memory to be able to remember that in such a way that it's like fresh for you as well, huh?
Yeah.
You were in that short-lived, but it was the Gingham Dog, and you played in Butterflies Are Free, as you're talking about, and so much more. I mean, the body of work is really extraordinary. And you auditioned for that role of the mother, Caroline Ingalls, in Little House on the
Mm.
Prairie, and you won the part. And it went on for 9 seasons, 1974 to 1983. Did you ever think that that role, that part, that series would go on that many years? It's one of the longest running on television.
Well, you know, I loved the art of acting. I loved transforming into somebody else. And so when I got the job and I had to take it, I had to, I needed a job. I was like, oh dear, this is going to run probably for 3 years. And on all that time, you know, I won't be available to do theater. Well, 8 years later, I did eight, Jim. The show transformed itself into Little House a New Beginning, and the ninth year was that new show, which didn't continue. Um, so 8 years, no, I never dreamed it would go on like that. I would have been appalled, but I'm grateful now. You know, I'm so grateful.
You know, some of the cast members have also really taken to the fact that that fan base is still there. Alison Arngrim and Dean Butler and Charlotte Stewart and some of the others. Um, it's really got to be wonderful when you are getting together with them again in the way that you are, and sort of celebrating everything and sharing the stories and the memories together, huh?
What I love about seeing them is hearing about their lives now
Yes.
and and appreciating the fine people that they've become. That's what I really like about getting together. You know, there's a lot of really strong individuals that came out of that show.
Do they still see you as Ma?
I think they see me as Karen.
I
Yeah.
like that. Exactly. They see you as the person that you are, because so many times, you know, a character becomes so beloved that there's that blur between, especially on set too, there could be the blur between the character you're playing and the person that you really are, this beloved actress all these years, also starring in many other shows too. You were on an episode of Gunsmoke as well,
Oh,
and of
yeah.
course Wyatt Earp too. You a 1994 film starring Kevin Costner. You also you starred in and co-wrote the NBC TV film Battered. Now that was something really special and still talked about today as well. Tell us about that amazing project, Karen.
Well, my friend Cynthia Lovelace Sears and I wanted to write a film for television. And I learned about this problem of wife beating when I was on tour for Little House in Fort Worth, Texas. And a journalist shared with me her original research, and we decided that was what we were going to make our film about. So we began to do our own original research. We interviewed many women who had run from homes where they had been abused with their children, um, with the threat of being killed if they left, um, having to hide in these sanctuaries where the address was never given out because it would be too dangerous. So we really exposed ourselves to the reality of this issue, and we tried to portray it in a way that would touch across class lines, across race lines, across religious lines, so that people could realize this was not something just associated with drunkenness or with poverty or with working class. It was something throughout our society. And you know, Ketty Lester was in that movie. She was fantastic.
And she's going to be joining us soon as a guest on our show, and we really look forward to that. She's amazing as well. You know, I want to let folks know too that you are somebody who really cares about people, and when you have something that you believe in, you are all in. During that period, you lobbied for federal funding for shelters for battered women and appeared in many events to support the Equal Rights Amendment Performance of the Year award as well uh, in that effort. So really something that has always been near and dear to your heart, right, Karen?
Well, I knew nothing about it. When I learned about it, I was compelled to work on it, you know?
And that's a
Yeah.
beautiful thing to think about all the people that you've helped as a result of that as well.
Well,
Um,
yeah, sometimes I get letters from people thanking me because it helped them to get out of a bad situation or to seek help. Uh, one woman I had known from school, she and her husband went for help and they saved their marriage. You know, so it's not all doom and gloom. It can be hope.
That is beautiful. And that's exactly what it is. And you, again, just lending your name and putting things out there. Um, I think it's absolutely spectacular. It's just, again, it just shows the essence of who you are as a person, Karen, not just a figure we know from television, film, and stage. Speaking of that as well, you were in a lot of other movies. Again, in addition to the wonderful Little House on the Prairie, you've been a prolific and well regarded and respected actress. You were in a lot of TV movies too: Cocaine, One Man Seduction, Crisis in Midair, Between the Darkness and the Dawn. In episodic television, you starred in Hotel, on Love Boat, Murder She Wrote with wonderful Angela Lansbury twice. You appeared on Hollywood Squares and on numerous talk shows. Dinah, the wonderful Dinah Shore, Merv Griffin, Mike Douglas, and even our friend who has been with us several times on the show, his dear friend John Davidson, which is
Yeah.
fantastic. Yeah.
You
And
know,
he
we had a hilarious time on John Davidson's show. I was the co host one week, and they had booked Ringo Starr. And you really should get John to tell you about that episode because it was something uh, out of left field.
I saw it, clips of it, and he talked about it because Ringo sort of gave John a really hard time, didn't he, on that episode? And
Well,
you were
yes,
you were calm, cool, and collected.
I don't think that he was thinking of giving him a hard time. He was just being Ringo. But John felt that here he was his guest. He had agreed to come on. He should be willing to play the game. And the game is John asks the question and Ringo answers. But Ringo was not answering. And he and Barbara Bach were working on this film. I think they had been up all night long. So they were very spaced out and in love. And it was a big mess. it was it was really something.
It was exactly. Did you like going on the talk shows, talking to the Mervs, the Johns, the Mikes, the Dinahs?
I
Those were big.
especially I especially like Dinah because we
Dinah.
did a lot of shows with women talking about women's issues, everything from love and family to um, sex to battering to um, just becoming equal citizens, you know. Maya Angelou was on. I mean, I met such powerful women on Dinah.
It was a great series, absolutely. And she had so many great guests on, like yourself. And, the series itself, Little House on the Prairie, of course, which is celebrating the 50th, which is so amazing. After the series ended, you moved to Santa Fe, New Mexico, became co-founder and artistic director of Santa Fe's Resource Theater Company. Later, then moved to Louisville, Kentucky, where you performed with the company of actors at Actors Theater of Louisville. Is the stage still something that is near and dear to your heart, Karen?
Oh, I love the theater. I love the theater. I have not done a play now for, well, the last one was in Canada during the pandemic. And I think my book had been out 6 months or more. And we did on Golden Pond. And in the play, the characters have a lot more to do than in the film. And I had the time of my life. We sold out our houses. We were a happy company. Our director was really on top of it. I mean, I really had a good all around theater experience with that show. And I thought, well, if it turns out that this is my last play, this is a good one to go out with. And that might be. I haven't had another play since.
That's really amazing. I do know that you spent time at the San Francisco Playhouse, right, around 2006, settling in that area, beautiful San Francisco Bay, and the ride down Mount Morgan in Cabaret, Outstanding Achievement Award in 2008, Theater
Hey,
Works,
that was my first musical,
right.
and I was semi-retired.
And you were semi-retired, right? Hey, you thought you were going to be, feet in the sand, but you were still, people wanted to see and hear from you.
Yeah.
At Theater Works, Aurora Theater, out of town, 5 productions of Driving Miss Daisy, Manitoba Theater Center, independent films too, not to forget, and Lasso. And,
Oh,
I think,
say, we should make a mention for not to forget, because
yes,
that is easily available for people. It's on Amazon and lots of other
Oh, it
places.
is. Oh,
Yeah,
that's terrific. That's great to
it's a
know.
it's a nice family movie, and
Yes.
I play an old demented lady.
I like this. Did you enjoy that role? And
So much,
yeah.
so much.
How do you, everybody has their ways that they prepare for their roles. They prepare to take on the persona and personality of the individual. What is your method? What is, when you have a role that you've taken on, do you do extensive research? Do you do study? What is your process like in acting, taking on the
Well,
roles?
if there's time, I love to do research, but when I was cast as Carolyn, we were going to start shooting in about 10 days, and there was no time. I based the character on my mother. And when I was cast in Not to Forget, it also was going to start shooting right away. Well, that's kind of the way the business is now, and you have to live with it. So I did read one new book about dementia that I found very, very helpful. And gosh, I wish I could think of the name of it now, because it was a really new angle on it. But also, by that time in my life, my own mother had been through dementia. So I had in my body, my mind, those aspects of her behavior. Yeah.
So that is an amazing thing. Some people do say that they're able to, when they're taking on a role, um, if it's not something they've experienced necessarily themselves, but they have experienced it through others that they care about, or it's things they experience themselves, you can pull from your own experience and use it within the character. Um,
Mm.
that's a wonderful resource to pull from, huh? Yourself.
Not,
And
not only is it a wonderful resource, but it really kind of redeems your own suffering,
mm,
because you take the suffering and you put it into art that communicates.
that's a brilliant way to put it. That's exactly what it is. With the character of Caroline Ingalls, of Ma, the beloved character, how much of she is you and you are she? How much did you identify? And of course, it's the Little House on the Prairie, it's rustic, it's rural, it's a different time. But still,
Mm.
as far as the heart and soul of that character, how much of that character was Karen Grassle and how much of Karen Grassle was Caroline Ingalls?
Well, there isn't much about Caroline Ingalls in the Little House books. Ma is not a, a principal figure, because Laura was her daddy's girl and she wrote the books. So Ma was there. She was strong. She was always there. She could be counted on, but there wasn't a lot to draw from. And at that time, there wasn't a lot of new research about the Ingalls family, which there is now. You can learn a lot about them. But at that time, there wasn't that much. So, really, I based that character on my mother, and I brought my own heart, my own mm, uh, Sturm drama, my
I
own
like that. Yeah.
struggle to the character, you know. Yeah.
Do you wish that the character had more thrust upon her in the series? I know we had Michael Learned on a couple of times, and she talked about her role in the Waltons, another beloved figure. And she said, there were times there was just a lot of sitting around and watching and waiting, and a lot of, baking bread and
Yes.
setting the dinner table, and some of it wasn't exciting, and it was like, gee, what am I doing here?
Yeah.
All I'm doing is, I just slice bread for the family, kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
do you
Yeah.
can you connect and relate to what she was saying? Yeah.
Oh my God. Yes. Michael is a friend of mine. And we bonded on this exact experience of the frustration of the role of the mother in these series. And both of us were well practiced actresses with great theater backgrounds, and were, just ready to, do. And in my case, the way it was the writers would write, Carolyn comes from the stove with the coffee pot to the table. Her line is, more coffee, dear. And then Charles and the Reverend, or Charles and the doctor, or Charles and somebody would have a scene. And I was so tired of that coffee pot and that line. So I made up mugs for the whole crew that said, more coffee, dear. And they never wrote that line again.
And that's why before we went on, folks, I asked her if she's got this big pink mug in front of her. I said, are you drinking some coffee there? No, she doesn't want to see coffee ever again. She's drinking tea. And now we know why. She's made enough coffee all those
Well,
years on Little
well,
House on
I
the
do
Prairie.
love coffee. It's true. I
Well, in
do.
Italy, where you are, there's some wonderful Italian coffees,
The
and
best
oh,
coffee.
yes. Do you have a personal favorite episode or two from Little House on the Prairie for the fans that are out there that just love this series,
Mm.
can't get enough? What's a Karen
My
Grassle favorite?
my my biggest favorite is the pilot. And after that, I have a couple of favorites where Carolyn got to do more. And those would be um, part one of, uh, gosh, what was the name of that first two-parter that we did? In the second part, Laura runs away. In the first part, Carolyn and Charles lose their baby. That was a very moving episode to work on. Um, and then, of course, Matter of Faith, where I get that infected leg, and I'm crawling around on the floor in agony. And, it was a challenge. So I like that. And then I love Olson versus Olson, where all the women went on strike, and we moved into Nellie's hotel to get the men to sign this petition to give us rights to common property.
That was a great one too. It's really amazing that people can recite, like I said, the dialogue. They remember the scenes, and it sparks memories for you guys too, right? That's right. I do remember that scene. They know it verbatim, the super fans.
Oh, yeah. A lot of times they ask me about things that I have no idea what they're even talking about.
Right, it's exactly right. They remember it so
Yeah.
well, and in such an in-depth way, which is amazing. In
Yeah.
2021, you starred in the film Not to Forget, together with Academy Award winners Cloris Leachman, Louis Gossett Jr., Tatum O'Neal, George Chakiris, who was a guest on our show, and Olympia Dukakis, aimed to raise awareness and fund for the fight against Alzheimer's disease, which you were talking about, that movie. You were in the movie, a very important topic and theme, and also working with some other fellow beloved actors and actresses, huh? Some big names there too.
Yes, they were the smart actors because they were all Academy Award winners, and they came in and they did 1 or 2 days, small parts, um, easy in, easy out, I call it, because independent features can be very challenging. And while they were in and out, and I was happy to meet them and get to tell them what their work meant to me, I was there for the whole time. And it was a lot of work. And I think the character came out well. Yeah,
Oh, it did. Absolutely. You know, everything that you've taken on, you put 110% into it, Karen. You really are a beloved figure in television and the annals of broadcast
yes.
history, truly. And I know you're very humble about it. And when you hear people say it, it's sort of like you step back and like, me? But when you look at the body of work and the selections you've made and the lives you've touched through your work, through your art, which is something that you started as a young child, it really does stand the test of time and still continues to touch the hearts, minds, and souls of all of us. And that's why when there are events with Little House on the Prairie and other things, people have this connection to you and to the other characters and cast because of what you've been able to do. And like you say, elements of your mother in Carolyn, you know, elements of yourself in various, you know, roles as well. And that's just an absolutely beautiful thing. And we thank you for all of those years of doing that and continuing to do that. The event coming up, my friend, in California is something quite special. Did you want to mention it and what's going to happen?
Sure,
People are, yeah,
sure. I
here's
mean,
all the
it's a
folks coming. Look at that, like listed. Look at those smiley faces from Little House on the Prairie.
It's 3 days of a Christmas celebration with the cast of Little House. And I think it's a wonderful combination, Little House and Christmas. And I'm sure the fans who come will have a really good time. I think they're going to have some traditional activities there, like maybe making Christmas ornaments, old-fashioned fun things like that. It will be a very wholesome weekend in
That
December.
in December, right? And we'll talk more about it. There's how you can get the tickets. It's going to be happening at Simi Valley, California, which is a quite a special place at Strathern Historical Park, and it's organized by Prairie League Productions. 3-day event featuring casts, meet and greets, autograph sessions, holiday photo opportunities, screenings of classic episodes, the documentary Little House Homecoming, family activities, tree trimming, caroling with Caroline, and visits with Santa and tours of the historical buildings. And it's going to be absolutely spectacular. Um, any thoughts? We had, and there's tickets availability there on the bottom of the screen for you. Any thought on the reboot of Little House on the Prairie? We had Allison on and Dean on. Talking about that, you know, sharing their thoughts and feelings about the reboot of the series.
Well, I'm very interested to see it. I can't wait to find out what kind of angle they're taking on the material and see the work. I think it's a big challenge because the audience is so tuned in to our show and it's still on every day. So very interested to see what they do with it.
Absolutely, everybody interested in it, and it should be an interesting take on this these characters and this beloved series. When you look at your body of work and what, and not just your work, but your life, your you know, just a beloved figure, but you're a person, and you know, you experience life and in your own way. What are some of those continued blessings and joys in your life, Karen, that bring you joy, that personally fill your heart and soul, fill your cup.
Well, the most important thing that I'm grateful I didn't miss was getting to have my son. I'm an older mother. I almost missed it entirely. And he's been calling me, checking on me here to see how I'm doing. And it's very rewarding.
Karen, you are truly, again, a blessing. And I mentioned last time we will keep the porch light on for you, and you're back with us to update us on your life, your experiences, of course, the event happening in California. I personally continue to thank you for all the joy and smiles you've brought us, all the thought-provoking performances, the way you've touched our lives and continued to. And you are welcome back here anytime. I thank you for coming on the Jim Masters Show once again, and I hope you truly enjoyed the time with me as much as I have with you, Karen.
Thank you. You're very generous, and it has been fun.
Thank you, Karen. You be well. Safe travels in Italy, and best to you and the family, and we'll see you again real soon, okay?
Thank you. Take
Sending
care.
love. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Karen Grassle here on the Jim Masters Show. She's there in Italy, and we were blessed to have her here. Again, she has graced us with her wit and wisdom, her life, her experiences, and so much more all of these years. And we love her. I know you do too. And again, of course, the beloved Caroline Ingalls on Little House on the Prairie all those years, talking about the series, very open and authentic about her time on the series as well and what it has meant to her. She really does appreciate all of the love and the fanfare that has been coming for her and for the cast of the beloved series. As well, you know, she has been a fixture on the stage and in movies and other entities and projects and productions, even beyond Little House on the Prairie, all these years as well. And there they are together in various ways, shapes, and forms over the years, the wonderful cast of Little House on the Prairie. And this is from the Little House on the Prairie themselves, the 50th. It's hard to believe 50 years, right? Absolutely. But again, Karen has been a part of our lives in such a beautiful way. And she really is a spectacular person. You know, don't you just love listening to her very soft voice? You know, I'm sure she does, or I would hope she does a lot of voiceover work. She has always had such a soft, beautiful, articulate, warm, caring voice, a vocal tone that is very appealing. And I studied voice for years. I do radio and TV and everything. And she just has one of these voices that just can, draw you in. She can sell ice to Eskimos, as they say. Truly. Here's her book again, too. We talked about it on the last episode, Bright Lights, Prairie Dust. Absolutely make sure you check that out. It is available. We thank Karen for joining us here on the show. I want to show you again the amazing folks that are going to be coming to this event. Now, if you're watching this a year from now, this will have already passed, but you can get tickets. This is in Simi Valley, California, and it is something very special. Fans of Little House on the Prairie gathering in Simi Valley for a special holiday cast reunion. That is the 12th or the 14th of December at Strathern Historical Park, organized by the great folks at Prairie League Production, 3-day event. Again, cast meets and greets, autograph sessions, holiday photo opportunities, screenings of classic episodes, the documentary Little House Homecoming, family activities, tree trimming, caroling, visits with Santa Claus. It's going to be magical. VIP ticket holders will enjoy priority access, gifts, and exclusive events, such as the Friday holiday party and Sunday breakfast with the cast. And it holds a unique place for the cast and the series, Little House. From 1974 to 1983, the series was filmed at Big Sky Movie Ranch in the hills of Simi Valley, where the landscape became the iconic backdrop of the Ingalls family story. That's why they select that place there, that beautiful spot. Really, absolutely going to be a tremendous, tremendous event. So, yeah, they're going to be talking about so many incredible things. And look for Dean Butler, who played Almanzo Wilder, and also Allison Arngrim joining us here on the show, who was Nellie Olson. They've been with us before, but they're coming back. Kenny Lester is going to be with us as well. Charlotte Stewart is back, and so many of your favorites from Little House on the Prairie. You can see them all here on our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. So again, there's your opportunity to get the tickets to this wonderful event with all of these fine folks from Little House on the Prairie who are going to be there. Several of them are guests here on the Jim Masters Show as well. If this was your first time watching our series, we welcome you. Thanks so much for joining us here. I am your host, Jim Masters. And once again, we thank the incomparable Karen Grassle for being a part of our show. Once again, this was her return visit. She really is a very special person. And she's there in Italy. She's got a lot going on, boxing up, moving, because she's going to be coming, back here to America, to the West Coast, because she'll be getting ready to see all of you at that very special event in California during holiday time. And so she's got a lot to do. And that's why we really, truly appreciate the time she took to be with us here exclusively during this very, very busy time for her. And it was very kind of her to join us as well. Also kind for you to join us. We appreciate you being here. If you enjoyed this episode, give it a thumbs up, drop a comment below. What is your favorite Little House on the Prairie episode or other project or production that Karen Grassle was a part of? Let us know. Interact with us. Share the episode on your social media. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. And we thank you for doing that. It means the world to us. If you're a tried and true Little House on the Prairie fan, maybe I met you. I had an opportunity to go to their event when it was in Connecticut, USA, with Allison Arngrim and Dean and Charlotte and so many others. And that was a breathtaking blessing. I showed some photos on a previous episode of our series, I think when Allison Arngrim and Dean Butler were on. But yeah, get a chance to go and say hi to them. They are there. They're going to be welcoming you in California. And again, we really, really appreciate Karen joining us here on the show. I'm your host, Jim Masters. Stay tuned for our next episode coming up in just a moment with another great guest here on the Jim Masters Show, Entertainment Lifestyle Celebrity Talk Show series. So for all of us, be well. Don't forget to love one another. Take care of one another, as we always say. And don't forget to do the very same for yourself. If you enjoyed this episode, come back, see us again, drop a comment below, give us a like, and we appreciate that. Be well, everybody, and happy 50th once again to Little House on the Prairie. And thanks to Karen Grassle and to you. Be well. See you on the next episode. Cheers.